Hey boys and girls, this is part 3 of D7100 tips and tricks. It's another video brought to you by the Angry Crazy Photographer. I only have a few more points left to go over, really. I'm not going to go over video shooting modes unless you want me to. Go into your shooting menu and under ISO sensitivity settings, make sure you have your auto ISO sensitivity control off. You do not want your camera automatically selecting your ISO sensitivity. I mean, I don't know, frankly, how much I could possibly emphasize that. You don't want your camera automatically choosing it. There are a few circumstances where that could be helpful, but they are almost non-existent. Now, you need to become familiar with your balances over here. Go into your info button, hit your subset for ISO, so you can change your ISO. Obviously quality, raw, fine, JPEG, raw and JPEG basic, raw, fine. Over here you'll notice the amount of shots that I get will be adjusted accordingly. Right now I have it on JPEG, raw uncompressed. Set your white balance. Okay, now on your autofocus illuminator, which of course is located right here, as you can see, that will turn on bright light. Some instances with critters and whatnot, that scares them, or at night, if you're not using that, what you do is go into your menu setting, go into your custom settings menu, and you go to A7, built-in autofocus illuminator. I have it on, that is default. If you need to, turn it off in case you have critter issues. One thing that I don't like that is default, go into custom settings menu, timers and auto exposure lock. Go down to C4, which is monitor off delay. I have mine set for 20 seconds. The default is 10 seconds. The reason being is if I'm looking at a photograph, these are some test shots, testing a lens. I'm checking something out, sometimes I'll be peering at something. 10 seconds, the monitor will turn off by its own. It's too long, too short of a period of time. I have mine default set to 20 seconds. You set it, obviously, wherever the hell you like. The important thing is that, obviously, you need to become extremely familiar with. Go over it a dozen, 2 dozen times. Go over it twice a day for a week or two. If this is your D7100, it's your new camera, or your D810, all of these, most of these things in video 1, 2, and 3 are applicable to the D800 as well. Go over all your setting menus, especially what each one of these means in your A through G series of your custom settings. What each one of these does and why it does and how it could help you or how it could cause an issue. It's not going to take you that long, alright? Now, as far as it's on your mode wheel dial, obvious, scene mode and effects, these are pussy settings. These are for changing, freaky outcomes in your photo. Do that shit in Photoshop, okay? These are worthless. These are newbie features. So scene and effects, I'm not even going to talk about them because they're bullshit features. Auto, obviously, that's handy if you need to catch something really quick. Same thing with program mode, both auto and program mode. If you are 80% of the time in auto and program mode, you're never going to become a skilled photographer. You got super pussy setting here, and you have P for pussy setting here. 80% of the time, I'm either in aperture, priority, and another 10% in manual. You do what you want. As you get comfortable with the camera, you might want to start off with program mode, where your camera automatically chooses your shutter speed and your aperture. That's perfectly fine, but get away from it. Start getting towards aperture, priority, and manual mode. Obviously, if you gotta take a quick snap of something, no big deal. It's a brainless family shot. As long as the exposure and the metering is right, perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with being in pussy mode. Excuse me, I mean program mode. Now, obviously what does not come with your camera, always take this off with your camera off. is your optional battery attachment. Now, I grew up with the Nikon D4S and extremely heavy cameras like the Pentax 6x7 medium format. You may be perfectly happy with lightweight cameras, but however, heavy cameras offer assistance as far as balance. This is a magnesium chassis. It comes with 2 packs. One is just an additional EL15 battery, as in the case of the D700, D810, and D7000. It also comes with an additional one. I don't have it right here. It's about 10 feet away. It's for let you throw in 6 AA batteries if you're out in the field. It's a bracket. You slide it in here. They do make off-brand versions of these, since this little unit is $300, last I recall. There are little computer contacts here for talking to your computer. Screws in right here onto the bottom of your camera. This is a vertical grip / additional battery. You have your function wheel here also for vertical shots. This can be reassigned in your program menu. Currently it's auto exposure or autofocus lock. You can reassign it to anything. You also have main control command dials, and you have your sub command control dials just like you have on the camera itself. Rear command and front command, you have it on your vertical grip as well, here and here. While this is an expensive little accessory, and Nikon are definitely whores about overcharging for their accessory, to me it is an extremely useful, very useful. To me it's a necessity, absolutely. I'm used to this, what I grew up on. I grew up with heavy cameras. I really can't get by without a vertical grip. Gives you an additional battery. Your camera doesn't start sucking juice from its internal battery, which is also an EL13, until this one is dead. You can actually change that in your settings about where it sucks power from first. I've got it, the camera's default setting is to suck power from the EL15 internal battery first. That way, basically, the only thing you're having to take out and recharge is this one, and this one will very, very slowly drain on its natural own accord. Power is not being drained from it. So, battery power is being taken from your vertical grip first. People call this an additional battery compartment. Technically, it's a vertical grip. The fact that it holds an additional battery, obviously, is only a peripheral feature of it. It is a beefy little bastard. They do make off-brand varieties of this that are all plastic, whereas this one has a magnesium chassis underneath these rubber coverings. So it is a beefy little bastard. It's not extremely heavy even with the battery in, but it does add substantial weight to your camera. I do recommend purchasing one of these, but this is a personal preference sort of thing. I can't get by without it, but you may be one of those panty waist pussies that I don't have any big muscles, but maybe you prefer just having the regular camera itself. I'm perfectly fine with that as well, but I'm very much used to having a vertical grip. So, personal preference, personal choice, blah blah blah. Obviously, you make the call, go down to your camera store, try one out for a second or two to see if you like it. I have to have vertical grip. Not that I want one or I like having one, I'm very much used to it and I actually have to have it. You know, I just can't do this whole number of... I can, but it's not comfortable and it's not natural to me. So, anyway, that is video series 3 of D7100 tips and tricks. Send me any questions, any whatever, and let me know. And I will make another one of these if I deem it necessary, but so far everything else is a bullshit no-duh feature that you can go over in your D7100 user manual. Like I said, most of these tips and tricks are also applicable to the D810. So, as another video from the crazy angry photographer. Let me know if you got any questions, and I'll catch you later. Right? Get it? Got it? Good.